A portion of this video is brought to you by UGREEN. This is the new iPad Air 5, now featuring Apple's M1 chip. That is the same chip not just from the flagship iPad Pro, but also the iMac, MacBook Air, and MacBook Pro. Over the years, the iPad has come a long way, and the iPad Air may just be the perfect middle ground between the regular iPad and iPad Pro. For me, it has proven to be a valuable product that incorporates well into my workflow and day. And in this video, I'm going to be covering everything you need to know. As always, I will leave the purchase links below the like button. Let's get started. Starting at $599 or £569 for 64 gigabytes. I wish Apple offered a 128 gigabyte model. Instead, the iPad Air only comes in 64 and 256 gigabytes. Now, 64 gigabytes is doable, but will fill up quickly. So if you plan to store a lot of apps and videos, I would consider jumping up to the 256 gigabyte model. The iPad Air comes in 5 colors, including the timeless space gray that I have here, and features the same glass and aluminum design as from the previous generation. This industrial flat design with sharp edges and rounded corners on the display looks great, which perfectly complements the design language of Apple's other products, including the iPhone 13 and recent MacBook Pros. I love using my iPad while on the sofa or on the balcony with a morning coffee for reviewing my calendar, reading emails, and watching YouTube videos. Weighing in at just 1 pound or 461 grams, the iPad is comfortable to hold for many hours at a time. While a lightweight design is important for portability, the structural rigidity of the iPad Air is something I want to touch on. From pressing the display, I can tell that the layer of glass is really as thin as it can be, and the aluminum frame does slightly flex under pressure. Has this caused any issues? No, but I do suggest getting a case or a folio for traveling or even just taking the iPad in and out of your backpack. I use Apple Smart Folio and have a separate video coming on this, but in short, I consider this to be an essential accessory. It magnetically snaps onto the iPad, and not only does it add structural rigidity, it also protects the display and adds functionality too, acting for a stand as the iPad. Useful to prop the iPad up on a desk. By the way, I have also reviewed Apple's Magic Keyboard, but let's just say I am not as fond of that as I am of the iPad. Okay, back to the iPad Air. On top, it features Touch ID, which is integrated into the sleep-wake button. Touch ID is and remains to be a fast way to unlock, use Apple Pay, and log in to apps. Though to unlock, I wish I could just tap rather than having to press and then hold. Small thing, I know, but it would make this process faster. The symmetric bezels going around the display look really sleek, featuring a 10.9-inch liquid retina display that too has rounded corners, and this I think really helps bring the design together. The proportions and size of the display mean it is possible to thumb type in portrait mode and is very comfortable to type in landscape mode. Good for short to medium length emails. The display on the iPad Air is an absolute pleasure to use. Featuring P3 wide color gamut, so colors in photos and videos are vibrant while still being very accurate. And with 500 nits of brightness, the display is easy to see outdoors and mostly usable in the sun. A pixel per inch count of 264 mean finer details in text and maps remain readable and clear. It also supports the second generation of Apple Pencil. When it comes to the display on the iPad Air, I have no complaints. One feature that is missing, however, is a 120Hz refresh rate that makes any motion on screen look even smoother. And this is something you will only find on the iPad Pro. The iPad Air features a 12 megapixel wide-angle camera on the back, which for a tablet really is overkill. I mainly just use it to scan documents. More importantly though, on the front we now have an improved 12 megapixel camera that is now capable of center stage, where during a FaceTime call it will move to keep you in frame. This is a really neat feature. The stereo speakers on the iPad Air not only are loud, but also have some real depth, especially in landscape mode, where the stereo effect is really apparent. The iPad Air is a powerful machine with a big battery, and to get the most out of it, you need a powerful charger to go along with it. This is where the 4-port 100-watt gallium nitride or GaN charger from UGREEN comes in. The use of GaN technology compared to traditional silicone allows for the charger to deliver incredible power from a portable design. To give you an idea of the charging speed, it can charge an iPhone 13 to 50% in just 30 minutes and can fully charge a 16-inch MacBook Pro in under 2 hours. It charges the new iPad Air 5 to 50% in just 45 minutes and to 100% in just over 1.5 hours. In terms of size, this is how the UGREEN charger compares to the standard MacBook charger, making it great for traveling or when you need a quick top-up. Not only can this 100-watt charger charge a range of devices, it can also charge multiple devices at a time. With 4 ports on the front, 3 USB-C and 1 USB-A, you can literally charge all of your tech at once. As a content creator, I charge a lot of tech, and for me, this charger has become my new go-to, letting me charge smaller devices like my Apple Watch to more power-hungry tech like my 14-inch MacBook Pro, all with just one charger. This simplifies the setup and is super easy to travel with and take on the go. To learn more and also get a special discount, be sure to click the links in the description. Thank you to UGREEN for supporting the channel. Now back to the iPad Air. The headline feature of the new iPad Air is that M1 chip. It is hard to believe that a desktop-level processor is in a device this thin and also with no active cooling. So how does it perform? It almost goes without saying, but iPadOS runs incredibly well. I mainly use the iPad Air for productivity, content consumption, and the occasional content creation. Apps launch nearly instantly, switching between apps is seamless, and apps stay open for very long in the background. Even when running multiple apps at a time, there is no lag or stutter. A fantastic feature, by the way. I love having a document open so I can take notes while reading an article on the web or watching a YouTube video. I actually have a video coming soon in which I explore whether the iPad Air can replace my MacBook Pro as my main computer, so be sure to subscribe to not miss that. And then when it comes to more intense tasks like photo editing or gaming, the M1 chip continues to deliver. For example, it can run Minecraft at max render distance with ease, maintaining smooth FPS. And editing photos in Lightroom has become my new go-to way to edit photos. And this is a great example of where the iPad Air not just does what my MacBook Pro can do, but actually does it better. Using the USB-C port, I can import my photos from a hard drive or SD card reader, and editing photos in Lightroom is just so easy and intuitive. You are not moving a cursor to where you want to make an edit, instead just touch it with your finger. And this really makes a difference in the ease of use. No matter how many raw images, presets, or masks I throw at it, Lightroom runs smoothly, just like it would on my Mac. The iPad Air also never gets hot, only slightly warm at most. iPads are known for their battery life, and the M1 chip not only delivers in terms of performance, but also in battery, thanks to its efficiency cores. During normal, mixed day-to-day use, running at around 70% brightness, I get anywhere from 9 up to 10 hours of screen on time. For how I use my iPad, I end up charging it once every 2 to 3 days. It is so great to not have to worry about battery life. In fact, I've even used my iPad to charge my iPhone. A bit expensive for a battery pack though. So who is the iPad Air 5 for? For the price, the iPad Air offers the best value option when compared to the rest of the iPad lineup. It has the same great design and processor as from the iPad Pro, but comes in at $200 cheaper. Now, this price difference narrows when you go for the 256GB model, but even then, the iPad Air is the one to get. Let me know if you have any questions. Be sure to like and subscribe to see more content like this. If you haven't seen them yet, I highly recommend watching my iPad Air unboxing as well as my iPhone SE unboxing. Thanks for watching and take care. 66GB. Now 64.